As usual, we start with the vocabulary. The first word in our vocabulary list is tradition. Tradition is very important to cultures because tradition means the customs or beliefs which are handed down from people before you. So traditions, of course, come from a very long history. And traditions are passed down from mother to daughter, father to son, and then from grandfather to grandchildren, grandmother to grandchildren. And these traditions are passed down in stories, in the way people act, in what they say, and basically how they live. So traditions, kind of think about traditions as being, I don't want to say old-fashioned, but of course they are very rooted in history and the way that previous generations did things. They will hand their traditions down to their children and so on. So those are traditions. Okay, next word, ancestor. I just mentioned this word, ancestor. Ancestor is a person in your family who lived a long time ago. Yeah, usually we talk about ancestors as people who lived, you know, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, but your grandfather and your grandmother and also just your parents are also your ancestors, and they're still with us. Whew, good. So a person in your family who lived a long time ago, yeah, but also people who are living now are also your ancestors, right? But usually when we talk about ancestors, we're talking about the generations that came before you. So you can think about, where did my ancestors live? How did my ancestors live? Usually when we ask these questions, we're talking about, hundreds of years ago. How did people live? Or where did they come from? Especially if you're from a country that has many immigrants, many people who moved to that country, like America, where many people came from other countries. So you can say, where did my ancestors come from? Okay? Next, we have legend. A legend is a story that is handed down as part of tradition. Traditions, really, when you think about it, they are stories. Most of traditions are just stories, or they're built on stories. And stories that are repeated again and again, and they become part of a culture. And usually they have some basis in fact or real history, but of course they are very legends are kind of like the story grows and it becomes more and more fantastic or more and more impressive over time as each retelling comes about. So legends are stories that are very old, that come down from many generations ago. And of course, when you think about legends, you can think about in the West the Greek legends about the Greek heroes like Hercules and Perseus, right? These are very amazing stories. And sometimes, of course, they're a little fantastical, but they're part of a culture. And there are stories also that give reasons for why people do certain things. So they could be legends. Also, another word that's very similar to legend is myth. So myths and legends are very important to a culture. Okay. Next, we have diversity or diversity. Diversity is the quality of being different. So if you have a group of people, like this group of young people right here, you can see that they're not all the same, right? They're different, right? There's boys, there's girls, there's different races. There could even be different, I'm not sure because they're lying down, but they could be different heights, right? So diversity just means the quality of being different. People in a group who are not all the same or who all look the same or who all have the same beliefs or ideas or ways of living, but they have diverse, if there are different people in the group who look different, who think differently, who live differently, then that is a diverse group instead of a uniform. Uniform would be the opposite of diversity. Uniform. So you can have a uniform society or you can have a diverse society. Okay, but diversity just means the quality of being different. Next we have connect. Connect means to join or link together. There's a famous idea about this, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, that Kevin Bacon is a famous actor, and there's an idea that everybody knows somebody. You know somebody who is only who knows maybe less than 6 people who personally knows Kevin Bacon, a famous actor. So that's kind of like this picture here, you know. Who do you know? You know, how close are you? How are you connected to other people? Your friends, who are their friends? Who are their relatives? How are all those connections made? So to connect is to join or link together. How are you connected to the people in your neighborhood, in your city, in your country, in the world, right? What are those connections? Okay. Okay, the next word is take part in. This is a 3-part verb, right? To take part in. Also, we call it a phrasal verb, but it also means just to participate. Participate. Participate is a 힘들어 or difficult word, right? Participate, right? Participate. 4 syllables. Take part in is easier to say, but it's 3 words, right? Take part in. So, to take part in means to join a group that is doing something together. So if you see a soccer game and you want to join the soccer game, you take part in the soccer game, or you participate in the soccer game. If you see a group of people eating lunch together, you say, oh, I want to eat lunch with them. So when you join them, you take part in that group eating lunch. You participate in their lunch, okay? But take part in means to join a group that is doing something together. Next, we have chopsticks. Chopsticks are eating utensils. Utensils in the West are a knife, fork, and spoon. In many Asian countries, they are chopsticks, and they are just a pair of sticks, small sticks, you know, only about that long, which people use to eat food. Of course, if you're watching me from an Asian country, you're very familiar with chopsticks. If you're not, then of course, chopsticks are very commonly used in many Asian countries to eat food, especially Chinese food. And you know, a lot of Americans do know what chopsticks are, and they do use them because Chinese food is very popular in America. And there's many Chinese restaurants, and of course, you can ask for chopsticks to eat your food at the Chinese restaurant. Okay. Okay, our last word is meal. Meal, of course, is a dish of food that you eat during the day. Usually we have 3 meals a day. Unless, of course, you're a hobbit, okay? It's from the Lord of the Rings. They have breakfast and second breakfast and so on throughout the day. But you should only eat 3 meals a day. Some people only eat 2 meals a day because they want to lose weight. But traditionally, the 3 meals a day are breakfast in the morning, lunch in the middle of the day, and dinner in the evening. And it looks like this young gentleman is eating spaghetti, probably dinner. Okay, that's a lot of spaghetti. Okay, so anyway, that's a meal. And those are our words for the lesson.
American Textbook Reading. Social Studies, Book 4. Lesson 1. Different Cultures. Tradition. Customs or beliefs which are handed down from people before you. Ancestor. A person in your family who lived a long time ago. Legend. A story handed down as a part of tradition. Diversity. The quality of being different. Connect. To join or link together. Take part in. To join a group doing something together. Chopsticks. A pair of sticks which people use to eat food. Meal. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner.